Good morning. This is Dylan Jovine with Behind the Markets. Happy Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, June 10th, and U.S. and China trade representatives are meeting to talk about ways to de-escalate this trade war. And there's a lot going on here. I'm not very optimistic. I'm hopeful, but I'm not very optimistic. I'll tell you something. Basically, we started a trade war with a country that deports or gives us access to 90%, that controls 90% of all rare in the world. Now, since Trump won, this has been an issue. Biden, this was an issue. I thought we had this whole rare earth thing buttoned up already. But apparently, we started a trade war with China without having the rare earth thing buttoned up. I figured there was some kind of secret supply. We had stockpiled it or whatever it is. So we started a trade war with a country that controls rare earth. So China has immense leverage over us because these rare earths actually go into, I'm just going to read some of the products. Smartphones, of course, tablets, speakers, touch screens, wind turbines, solar panels, robotics, advanced manufacturing, lasers, EVs, regular cars, as we discussed yesterday, the F-35 fighter jet, and most importantly, for the sakes of this negotiation, rare earths go into the semiconductors that we make that give us leverage that we're trying to restrict access to China. So in other words, we're trying to restrict access to advanced semiconductors to China, and rare earth from China actually go in to making them. I'm not sure I understand, frankly, why we would start such an antagonistic negotiation with a country that basically has us by the short and curlies. And they basically have us by the short and curlies. I'll tell you something. As an American citizen, I would expect nothing less than for us to, knowing this now, how unprepared we've been and how we've had to walk back the China trade negotiations, basically in phases where both sides can save face, I would expect us or hope that our leaders, both parties, put together an all-hands-on-deck effort. I wouldn't say Manhattan Project, but real all-hands-on-deck effort to get us independent on rare earths, since they are critical to everything we do. It's really unbelievable as the stuff is starting to leak out, people close to the Trump administration, what's really going on behind the scenes. Thankfully, we seem to be walking back some of this. So China has a lot of leverage. I actually think China might have more leverage in that way than we do. They put themselves in the pole position in the supply chain for all these foundational elements. Very important. And I'll tell you something. This is why factories were shut down. And thankfully, President Trump had a call with Chinese President Xi Jinping on Friday, and a bunch of the automakers who were basically in a panic in private, afraid of talking about this in public, of course, for fear of angering the president. Xi Jinping from China gave a bunch of automakers a necessary export approval. So they're going to get their rare earth so their factories aren't shut down. Trump got that from Xi Jinping, but Xi Jinping is not a patsy. He was born at night. He wasn't born last night. So I'm curious to know what he got in return for such a big favor. Because basically, by withholding these rare earths, basically U.S. car manufacturers were about to be shut down. We talked about it yesterday, that there was already a plant being idled, and they were going to have a bunch more in the coming weeks. So the good news is American workers won't get idled. They'll still receive paychecks. The bad news is that we are learning, a little bit late in my opinion, that China has actual, in some ways, maybe more leverage than us because of rare earths. They have this dominant position in rare earths. And how we've known this for a decade, it's been a security issue for a decade. Plenty of blame to go around. Our leaders have put us in a situation where we are literally at risk, and we've given another country critical leverage over our national security, our production, and it's just appalling to me. Anyway, there are some companies in America that have been granted licenses to actually mine them. One of them, and we covered this in our special report on rare earth that we issued a few years ago and has been updated. And I urge you to read it because you'll understand exactly how these work, how critical they are to the U.S. supply chain, how critical they are to everything we're doing right now. You're watching me on a computer or a phone because of them. That's just the bottom line. I hope you read that report, get access to it, check it out, because the company that we focus on in that report is really going out there and is really the leader in bringing back that manufacturing to the United States. Anyway, that's all I have for today. Have a good Tuesday.